Welcome, friends. My name is Silas Ollegario, and I'm the host of Think Onward, a podcast about books, studies, productivity, and lifestyle. Now, after the intro. It's a happiness feeling. It's a happiness feeling to be here every Wednesday, every week, here with you, being part of this podcast, being part of your life. As I always say, I don't know what you're doing right now. I don't know if you're almost going to sleep. I don't know if you're doing the dishes, if you went for a walk, if you're at the gym, hitting your weights. You're probably not lifting weights right now because I don't know you, but I can barely lift some weight when I'm listening to while I pay attention to a podcast. It's not possible. But if you're on a treadmill, maybe that's possible. Maybe that's a possibility that you're listening to me. And how you guys doing? I hope you're doing great. I'm definitely doing great. It's been a crazy month, the month of July. And the beginning of August was just as crazy because it was definitely nice moving because if you're here, you probably listened to last week's episode when I talked about being vaccinated and I talked about moving to a new house and remodeling the house is something that it's very great and it's so nice, but it's so stressful. We are so happy to be here, but also so overwhelmed and so poor. My bank account is dry, man. But it's all part of the game, I guess. Just a reminder before I continue. Every Wednesday I'm here. Every Saturday I'm on YouTube, so you can go to YouTube and check my every episode of this podcast. I'm thinking about creating a new channel only for the podcast. I'm sorry, I don't know what sometimes my microphone does this noise. But again, only for the podcast, maybe a channel called Think Onward, so I can put the episodes there. But as of right now, I have been posting the episodes on my YouTube channel, Silas Ollegario. I'm so thrilled. This week, I got to 110 subscribers, and it's so great. It's so nice. Maybe 100 of these subscribers are friends of mine, people I know, people who decided to follow me because they want to support the channel and support me, as friends and as people who know me. But at the same time, I know lots of friends of mine who do not follow me, who do not watch my videos. But anyway, it's so nice to be out there, doing something. It's sometimes I feel like it's a very necessary distraction. It's a very necessary thing to do during my week. I have to record a podcast. I have to record a video. Because once you start it, it's very difficult to stop, and I don't want to stop. I just want to continue. And creating content is something that I've been enjoying a lot. And well, I think let me see if I have a new message. No, I think that's it. Right now I'm in my table here in my kitchen, lights down. My wife is in our bedroom watching TV. She's watching Botched. It's one of the favorite TV shows we watch as a couple. Botched. I don't know if you're familiar. In Brazil, I think in United States and Canada too is the E channel. The same channel that we have. You can catch Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Before the Kardashians show, it's this Botched. It's a plastic surgery show. These two doctors, Dr. Terry Dubrow and Dr. Paul Nassif, they are simply amazing plastic surgeons in Hollywood. They are specialists in fixing bad surgeries. So people sometimes have a bad surgery. They had a bad surgery, and in case you don't know, when you have a bad surgery, you say that you're botched. And sometimes they have to fix a problem that people had due to previous plastic surgeries, and we enjoy it because I love medicine. Plastic surgery is definitely one of the things I love the most, and my wife enjoys watching these these crazy cases, and it's very interesting. So she's right there with our cat in bed, watching TV while I'm here. In a couple of minutes, oh my God, this noise. In a couple of minutes, maybe in 30 minutes, I'm gonna have my class with my student. So yes, I want to talk to you about, because people have been asking me. I was going to talk to you about a book, but I decided to change the podcast that was going to be out today to the episode for next week, which is about, it's related to the video I posted on Saturday on my YouTube channel. It's about the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. So I'm not going to talk about this book today. I'm not going to talk about books today. I'm going to talk about lifestyle. Because again, as I said in the intro, about studies, books, productivity, and lifestyle after the intro. So I'm going to talk about one of the things that people ask me a lot. And basically every week I have to answer this question and explain to people why stuff are happening. We are moving to Canada, as people know, as you all know, you who listen to this podcast since the beginning. My wife and I, we decided to move to Canada years ago. We decided, and the whole immigration process is something that takes a long time. It's not easy. It requires a lot of money. It requires a lot of planning, and changing the city is something that is very difficult to do, especially when you're going to leave your family and your friends and people you know. But when you're going to change the country, it's something absolutely crazy, especially from Brazil to Canada, because it's like 11,000 kilometers away from where we live right now. And it is not a decision that you should take in one day. You should really think it through, and you should really pay attention to what you're doing and realize that you're going to have to give up so many things in order to have so many other things. And I've already talked about my path to medicine, my path towards medical school. I'm going to have in the future, once we get there to Canada, I'm going to have a podcast dedicated specifically to immigration, talking about how things work in different aspects, because this whole immigration thing is something that is not simple. You have different ways you can go to a new country legally, of course. United States has a kind of immigration process. Canada has another one. I believe Canada has got one of the most... I think Canada is very smart in the way they decided to choose how they're going to implement every aspect of the immigration process. And that's because Canada receives a lot of immigrants every year, and they actually need and they actually want people who are going to continue building the country, continue developing the country and the culture, and making Canada great and great and great. And we hope, my wife and I, we are able to do this for Canada. I know it might seem weird to say for Canada, like the country is going to do something for you. Of course, it's not the country itself, but the fact that the government does this for so many years, and the people are so aware of that, and they actually understand how the importance of the role every immigrant has in the country, because without the immigrants, so many things would be impossible. And I was just watching a video about Canada like 30 minutes ago, and the guys were saying that in so many different aspects of the economy right now, and I'm talking August 2021, Canada has already recovered after the pandemic. The numbers in so many things, in so many parts of the economy, are already better than 2019. So this recovery is due to people, is due to, of course, to the smartness of the government, but also because people are eager to work and eager to develop and study and do what's best for them, what's best for the community, what's best for the country, what's best for the future. And we are so willing to do this. And one of the reasons we decided to move to Canada is medicine. I already talked about this in a previous episode. But that's not the only thing. Back in 2014, one of my best friends, her name is Christina Elizabeth Risch. Christy, we all call her Christy, of course. Christy she's American, she lives in Alabama, Birmingham. And she lived in Brazil for a long time. And was in Brazil that we met, was in Brazil that we became friends. And once she returned to the United States back in 2015, talking to her, I'm sorry, I said 2014, talking to her, I said, Christy, I'm so tired. Brazil is not for me. I love my country. I love my family and my friends here, but I just feel like my potential is being cut in half year after year, and I don't want to do this anymore. I have to go, and the only place I can imagine me living is the country I already know, which is the United States. And then she started helping me, figuring out what we can do, because she was there. She was, oh my God, I hate this noise. She was there. She was engaged, and her husband now, John, and we started talking what we can do, maybe which university I should choose. That will give me the best options to pursue medicine. But then, because one of the differences when comparing United States to Canada is because in the United States you cannot have a student visa and work. This is very important because unless your family is rich, unless your family has financial ways to keep you in a new country, which is not my case, by the way. It's very difficult. So imagine me living in the United States, not able to pay the bills, not able to, support myself because I couldn't have the financial support I needed. And that was a big problem. But then Canada came to my radar. Actually, she was the one she said, what about Canada? Canada, I don't understand, but I know they have a different immigration process. Then I started looking. And the first thing I saw was this, that Canadian students were allowed to work 20 hours a week. It might not seem much, but when you need support, when you need to pay the rent and pay the bills and pay for your living, this is enough, And at that point, I was sold. Okay, it's Canada. Forget about the United States. I'm going to Canada. And then I started looking in different cities and finding on YouTube, because today YouTube, you can find everything you want, everything you need, you can find on YouTube. And then looking on YouTube, I found so many different channels talking about immigration. And then I found Brazilians talking about immigration, people who lived there for 10, 15 years, people who worked with immigration, people who just knew how things work because they were part of the process. And I said, oh my God, so that's not one guy saying that I could go and work. So then you go to the website, the official website of the Canadian government. And there you can find, they actually direct you to the point where you can, look, this is the best path for you. You should come, study, and then because of your studies here, you're gonna get a work visa, so you can stay here after you finish your studies. And man, this is crazy. How is that possible? Okay, but then I decided that I was done. Okay, I'm moving. I'm going to Canada. Now I just need to save money to go to Canada. In the meantime, this was already the end of 2014. I met Rebecca, my wife, and as soon as we met, I started liking her and turning her eyes to me. But then we had a conversation before we started dating about future. We're just talking, and I said, look, let me be honest, I like you, but I do have one thing in my mind, that although I'm starting to like you, if there's no way you want to pursue this, so we can stop right now. We don't have to continue, because I don't want to have my heart broken again. I don't want to break your heart. I want to go to Canada. I started already the process of moving, saving money, in understanding how this whole process works. And I don't know how you think about this. I don't know what you think about this. But the one thing that got me so happy after this conversation is that first I said, okay, for starters, I've always wanted to live in a new country. My family's from Brazil. My church is in Brazil. I study here. I work here. My wife she's a public servant. She's a civil servant, which means she works for the government here in Brazil, for the federal government. So she has a stability and she has a great salary. But I've always wanted to go to a new country, maybe France, But then we knew that Canada, part of Canada, speaks French, and then maybe that will be a possibility. But she said, "Okay, let me pray about this," and then she started thinking and praying, and when came to a time that we wanted to make a decision towards our future together. And she said, "You know what? I'm up for it. If living abroad is something that you wish for the future, I guarantee it's something that I also wish for." So we started our journey together as a couple, and things changed because at that time she was still studying English. She didn't speak English back then. She was studying, and she pushed so hard, and she learned English so fast. And we started learning everything that I was to learn about this process of going to Canada. And because we understood through the process that the best way to go to Canada would be as a married couple, we had no idea of rushing anything. So you know what? We have time to save money. We have time to mature ourselves. We have time for our relationship to grow, until we decide maybe in the future that we're gonna go together. And that's what we did. And 1 year passed, and after 1 year dating, I proposed and got engaged and started saving money and preparing our wedding. Definitely our priority was always our wedding, and because having the marriage, a good marriage was always in our radar. It was always something that we wanted. But before we started our marriage, we wanted to start it with a big party. So the wedding was so important. So we just got this huge wedding. It was totally worth it. We spent a lot of money, but it was totally worth it. Had a great honeymoon. And as soon as we got back, we started I think officially, we started the process. We got married in September 2017, and officially we started the process with the immigration office in April 2018. And that was the moment we decided that Canada was going to be our future. Canada was going to be our home for for our lives, hopefully. And back then we wanted to go to Montreal, because Montreal is in Quebec. Quebec is officially a French-speaking province in Canada. But so many things happened, and I eventually we learned that in Montreal, although it's a bilingual city, people speak French, basically. So I would have to learn French, which is not a problem, but these things, they can make your process go slower. So we decided that, no, you know what, let's change. So we decided to move to Ottawa. Ottawa, in case you don't know, Ottawa is the capital of Canada. Yes, it's not Toronto. Toronto is the biggest city in Canada, but Ottawa is the capital of the country. So it's like Brazil, okay? São Paulo is not the capital of Brazil. Rio de Janeiro is not the capital of Brazil. Brasilia is the capital of Brazil, and we live in the capital. So we decided let's go to Ottawa, because Ottawa is officially bilingual. And when I say official because it is. Even the license, even the signs on the road, they are always in two languages. So that's the idea. Such a beautiful city, amazing place. We found a church there that we like so much. But I have a friend. Her name is Deborah. She's from Porto Alegre, which is the same city I'm from here in the southern state of Brazil. And she lives in Calgary. And talking to Deborah, she said, Silas, you know what? If I have to define Calgary for you, Calgary is like Porto Alegre, but in a first world nation. Everything that we love about our city, you can find in Calgary. And all the bad stuff doesn't happen here. It's one of the cleanest cities in the world. It's one of the safest places to live in the world. It's considered is among the 4 best places to live in the world. This is amazing. If Canada is already one of the best, if not the best country to live in the world, Calgary is the best city in that country. Then we saw this, and my wife just fell in love with it because Calgary is in the western part of Canada, in the Rocky Mountains, and we had so many options because we were in the middle of all that. We had to choose which place we're gonna study. I was going to university. Okay, medical school here, medical school there. How much is this? How much is in here? How much is in there? But then came to the point that, okay, what about rent? What about buying a house in the future? This kind of stuff. And when we put all that in an Excel sheet, we got to the conclusion that Calgary was the best option for us, because I've always known I wanted to live in a big city, and Calgary is the third or the fourth biggest city in Canada, because there are cheaper cities to live in Canada. Cities like with 100,000, 200,000 people, 400, 800,000, but over 1 million people. The cheapest city to live in Canada is Calgary. So the decision after that was so simple, and we settled. That's it. That's the place we're going. And everything started happening. So the entire process started happening. Choosing university, being accepted. Of course, go to university, you need to be accepted to the university. So everything from school, all the documents, everything translated to English, officially translated to English, then sent, and then the application process for the universities and being accepted, and all that happened. And then when we were set to move, COVID happened, and we've been feeling like for the past year our lives is on hold, and my life has been on hold for quite some time right now. But I'm so happy this is happening right now. I still don't know exactly when I'm going. I'm still waiting. Oh my God, again, this noise. I'm sorry, guys. But again, I'm still waiting for some stuff, some details to happen. I'm still waiting for some government decisions, and because COVID made everything to be late, caused everything to be late. So, but in 31 days, yes, 31 days, my classes at University of Calgary, which is the university I was accepted into, start, and I'm still in Brazil. So I still don't know when I'm going. And you may think this causes anxiety, and you'll be right. It's easy to be anxious. It's so easy to be anxious about this kind of details, and I'm not gonna lie, I am. But at the same time, I'm trusting God, and I'm hoping for the best. I'm waiting and working and doing what I have to do, and recording my podcast and going and videoing every weekend, because life cannot stop. Although some things we are waiting until Canada arrives, for other things we just cannot wait. And yeah, I'm sorry. I know there was a very storytelling episode, but I just had to put this thing out there so I can have a way to share to people this part of my story. And I'm so glad I had to do this with you guys. And yeah, I believe that's it. Next Saturday we're gonna have a new video. and on my channel. Let me see. And yeah, next week we're going to talk about Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's a book review. I'm going to go deeper in the review because my YouTube channel, I started the review, but it wasn't so deep because I do have the podcast where I can talk for 25 minutes about something. But that's it, guys. I hope you have a great week. And yeah, see you guys next week.